Hey everybody, what's up? I am filming in my room and I actually just got this tablet and I realized that it's like a very close up, so I hope you can bear with me. I do recognize that this is a little weird, but I really wanted to stick to my schedule and I wanted to make sure that I shared certain information with you guys. I actually planned out today a certain marketing and video schedule so that I can make sure to share the information that I have with you on a more consistent basis. So hopefully you're receptive to me and you forgive me for, wearing my little moo that I have at night. And I just wanted to film this short video. There were a couple of notes that I took just sort of analyzing the videos that I had in the past couple weeks. The last video, oh my goodness, God bless your heart, whoever had the patience to go through that. It was like 25, almost 30 minutes long. Woo! Shout out to you because I were a couple hits on that, so thank you. Anyway, so I wanted to get started. I have a personal goal of making this video 15 minutes or less, so we're going to get right to it. First of all, if you don't know who I am, my name is Shebah Saturn, and I am delighted to be here with you tonight or whenever you watch this, maybe in the morning, the afternoon, or what have you. But here in Atlanta, Georgia, it is nighttime. So I'm delighted to be here with you and share what it is that I know. If you have any additional questions or you are just starting to become fascinated by this science, welcome to the occult side. And this is exciting. I'm happy to be a part of your journey. You can find more information about the services that I offer, as well as some of my writing and poetry at www.shebahsaturn.com. That's SHEBAHSATURN.com. And I'm also on Instagram at @ShebahSaturn. Okay, cool. So today's topic is about the number 8. And as I always say, it's a very important mnemonic device to remember information, particularly when you're first absorbing this information in this framework. It can sometimes be overwhelming. I know for me, when I was initially started to study this science and get really into it, it really helped me develop my critical thinking skills and my creative thinking skills, which is one of the reasons why I pushed so hard. I pushed so hard in the occult sciences and the esoteric sciences because they truly are very valuable at the very, very, very foundational level of helping you expand your mind. One of the things that I talk about is when I was in my early 20s, I used to think that read through a text, and if something was inconsistent, I'd automatically say, oh, that's a fallacy, or that's, no, that's erroneous. That's not, the information, the facts on here are not true because it's inconsistent. But what I was forgetting to look into a little bit more is the context, that something can be true in one context and then not true or not applicable in another context. So I'm a very big advocate and proponent of the using astrology, numerology, and the tarot, and the occult and the mystical sciences and the esoteric sciences to help you develop your conception and your philosophy of the world, universal law, and the way it works. The ancients obviously knew that this was powerful beyond what a lot of us are willing to recognize. I think that we have so much of an emphasis on the rational mind these days that we forget how clairvoyant we are and how much we can use this knowledge in our daily lives. I know for me, one of the things that was very frustrating about the occult sciences is particularly when I started to study the tarot, is that I didn't understand. I was trying to rationalize and explain why it was so effective for me in my life. And on the one level, you could say it's a plain principle of self-reflection, right? The tarot is a tool for self-reflection, and that is true, but there's also a relationship, a very intuitive and strong psychic relationship that I had with the cards that were, it was, in the most clear way that I can say it and concrete way that I can say it is that the tarot was responding to my subconscious pull. And yeah, so we'll get into that. Anyway, as you can see, I love the esoteric sciences. They've provided me, so grateful to them. This science has provided me with so much clarity and so much self-understanding, and I love to share that with you. So today we're talking about the number 8, and it's always a great device. As I was saying, I got a little tangential there. I went on a tangent. Not conjugating that correctly. I went on a tangent and was talking a little about the esoteric sciences and why I love them, why I'm so passionate. But now I'm going to reel it back in and talk to you about the number 8 and also the framework of numerology and using a story as a mnemonic device, which is a tool to help you with comprehension and to aid in memorization. Okay, so if we accept numerology as being reflective of the path of human development and spiritual enlightenment from birth until death, or from initiated to uninitiated, then we begin to see that the numbers actually represent different stages of human development and different stages of the maturation of the cycle of human growth. So I'll give you an example. Number one, this is all very intuitive. Number one stands for leadership, and it stands for originality and creativity. It is the lone reed, right? And it makes sense, being the one there, the only one energetic body there. You do have to develop confidence and creativity and originality and your leadership skills in order to forge ahead, right? The lone reed. Then after that comes the two, which is the principle of polarity, and has a lot to do, you guessed it, with partnership and being able to balance, sort of balancing out duality and being accepting of duality. After that, we progress to the stage of communication, which is three. As they always say, you progress from one, the leadership, the two, the partnership, and then three, the energy fundamentally changes. And if you want a visual, you would say the pyramid, and we all know what a sacred shape that is: the past, the present, and the future. Mother, father, child. Or mother, child, or father, child, depending on, what your family unit is like. But it's one energy, another energy, and the third energy, the three energy. It's a sacred shape, right? So after that, we progress to the fourth. And the fourth is all about practicality. You build out and it becomes a square. And from the square, you think about construction and building and organization and structure. From there, you get to branch out into the five. And the five can create a 5-point star. And the five is all about creativity, recreation, imagination, children, very creative theater, bold energy, art. Then from there you go to implementation, or is also associated with the house of the Virgo, a house of perfectionism, and is a higher octave of the three. So it's energy that's very concerned with being of service, very humanitarian, and very harmonious, also associated with music. From there we progress to the number 7, which is all about analysis and evaluation and establishing a higher connection with God, and also really appreciating the arts because of the Venusian energy. And then you get to the 8, which is the energy that I'm here to talk to you about today. And 8 is quite an interesting reality to occupy. If it is your life path, if it is your path of destiny, or maybe you're just seeing the number 8, or you have an attraction, a subconscious attraction to the number 8, you have to trust those things. Even if 8 is not prominently in your chart, you probably do have some sort of karmic energy or karmic pull with it. So trust what it is that you're attracted to and delve in. Don't be afraid. I am going to stick to analyzing the number 8. I forgot to end the story. After 8 comes 9. There's a certain science of numerology that does not use the number 9 because they consider it a god number. It's Chaldean numerology. It's very ancient. It's from Babylonian times. And they actually consider the number 9 the god number and ineffable. So in some calculations and in some sciences throughout the world, they don't use the number 9. In Chaldean numerology, number 9 is not used. So that calculation would be very different. It's important for me to note that I'm actually ruminating and giving you a stream of consciousness and energy and knowledge about the use of the number 8 as I've studied it regarding regarding Pythagorean numerology. Yes. Okay, so 8. After the 7, the evaluation and the analytics, comes the 8, which is considered the number of manifestation. And after the number of manifestation becomes an even higher point energy, which is the number of the 9, the teacher, sort of the hermit energy that is very worldly and concerned with educating humanity, also very high standards, and tends to be very self-critical, the 9. But right now we're going to stay couched in the 8 energy. So I would ask you to consider, what are your intuitive responses to the number 8? How do you react to the number 8? Now, this may seem kind of silly, like, what do you mean, how do I react to the number 8? But honestly, seriously, take yourself through that meditation if you are receptive to it, and you'd be surprised what it is that your subconscious self taps into or downloads from the collective consciousness. So you see 8, you see, maybe some of you are watching the video and you're like, well, duh, infinity. Yes, absolutely. It's the number of manifestation. It's also the number of karma. It's associated with the planet Saturn and also associated with Scorpio energy. Okay, it is a very disciplined number, and it's a number that is the number of karma. If you take a look at the number 8, it goes like this: whatever you give out, you get back. Whatever you get out, you give back. Very often with the 8s, the karma is instantaneous. It's a very challenging life path number and destiny number to occupy. However, you can achieve great heights with this number. If you go to a lot of other channels, many traditional numerologists will tell you all of the things that I'm going to tell you very quickly, but I want to talk about this number in sort of a different way and tell you a little bit about my experience with this number, because it is actually my life path number. Okay, so traditional astrologists would say, and basic like 1 + 2 = 3, basic ABC astrology and numerology is going to tell you, oh, the number 8 is associated with great wealth. You have the capacity to accrue great wealth. Well, that is true, but it's not a guarantee. There is a hidden lesson and a hidden blessing, which many people refer to as a struggle or as a challenge. It's a lesson. Each number has embedded within it an emotional, spiritual, and intellectual lesson for you to uptake. Okay, you are here for a reason. As I was reading in my yogic book the other day, beings who are reborn are not liberated beings. That's why we're here on this playing field, because we're seeking liberation. Beings who have reached liberation do not get reincarnated or reborn, and I choose to subscribe to that belief. So the number 8, they will tell you, okay, well, you have the capacity to accrue great wealth. You have the capacity you have a lot of karmic energy with money. You're going to learn need to learn how to manage money. You're going to need to learn financial literacy, financial intelligence, because of the influence of the planet Saturn. A veces se siente un poquito pesada, pesado. Sometimes this energy feels very heavy. Because it is a burdensome energy requiring a lot of responsibility and a lot of discipline. Okay, so with the 8, they'll say money, power, and authority. Money, power, authority, and sex. Money, power, authority, and obsession. All of that is true. 8s are very concerned with power. Simultaneously, they may fear it if they're still in the early stages of development of the 8, and yet at the same time really crave it and be sort of like, what was that Lord of the Rings Schmeagle, like, ooh, my pretty, they want power. And what is power in this capitalistic system that we're living in? As some would argue, money, right? So the 8 has a lot of responsibility in needing to establish their values and their ethics so they don't get power hungry and power corrupt. Now, for those of you who have 8 in energy in your numerology chart, or you're attracted to number 8, or your life path, your destiny number, your outer number is an 8 energy, maybe you even have 8 energy in your name, I don't want you to become alarmed. But I will say that 8s have this capacity to convince people to be on their side, because I'm an 8. We speak with authority. We speak as if what we are saying is law. And it's very important to have a strong ethical and system of ethics and value system buttressing and supporting what it is that you're saying, because people will gravitate toward you, not knowing why, but it's because you give off this energy of authority. You give off this air of authority, and you may not even be aware of it. So I will say this, knowing to say, okay, brace yourself. Donald Trump is an 8 life path. So you will see how he has this capacity to tap in, right? He has this capacity to tap into the masses and steer anger and aggression and fear in people. And it's quite an energy to have to master. I will also want to balance you out by providing a little bit more information about some really inspiring figures throughout the course of history, and some in pop culture who also have the 8 life path. So these are very encouraging, and we'll balance it out hopefully, okay? Nelson Mandela, somebody who's very concerned with freedom and liberation in other people, who took a very strong sense of responsibility and sacrifice Eights do require a lot of sacrifice. Very strong value system. Nelson Mandela, an amazing human being. Pablo Picasso, okay, we know who he was, an amazing artist. We also have a lot of different people in the entertainment field. And 8 is also associated with body mechanics. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. So I wrote these names down just from memory. Fact check them, but I believe I should be about 90 to 95% accurate. And please, post in the comments below and correct me if my information is inaccurate regarding these statistics from pop culture. Elizabeth Taylor, Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse, I know for sure was an 8 because she really, really struggled with the level of sort of emotional energy that she was downloading from the Matrix. And 8s also tend to be very sensitive. I'll get into that also. Aretha Franklin. 8s can struggle with addiction. It's not necessarily that we do it like the 5. So the 5 energy struggles with addiction based on overindulgence. They don't cleanse their temple. The 8s struggle with addiction due to emotional instability, okay, and having such strong emotional pulls. Because we're the number of manifestations, so we're constantly feeling that push to manifest and that pressure. So Elizabeth Taylor, Amy Winehouse, Aretha Franklin, Barbra Streisand, Enrique Iglesias, Faith Hill, Hilary Duff, and Jessica Simpson. Some of these people, as you can tell, are great business moguls as well. Jessica Simpson, she started off with her knowledge of body mechanics and pushing herself, because 8 is associated with body wisdom and body mechanics. And intuition. It's associated with body wisdom and body mechanics because of the strong intuition that the 8 energy has. Also being vibing out with the 8th house, which is, the house of Scorpio. So it's a very strong energy, and also the ruler, Mars, right? But don't also forget that it's also true that it's associated with Saturn. So it's associated with all these different aspects, and they create the totality of what is the psychological makeup of the 8. So business moguls, people who are somebody like a Warren Buffett. I'm not saying that Warren Buffett was an 8, but he's a really good example, a prime example of somebody who is a business mogul, like Jessica Simpson, that sort of energy. Again, her life path was an 8, so she started off with her intuitive body mechanics and getting her body wisdom straight in singing and so on and so forth. Again, the power was probably very attractive to her, and then she ended up branching out and creating her own clothing line. I actually have some of her boots. They're very cute. Anyway, so I want to talk to you also about the positives of the 8, and I wrote a couple notes down. Okay, so positives of the 8: you're very determined. In fact, you don't know how to quit, which is why if you follow through, eventually you will be successful. Stay determined. Okay. Let's see, I already mentioned that you have a fierceness that's somewhat kind of like a fixed energy, a fiery energy because of the Mars, and then also a fixed water sign because 8 energy also is associated with the 8th house of Scorpio. And Scorpio actually is a water sign, it's a fixed water sign. Very, very stubborn, very taciturn, very recalcitrant, very, very determined, sort of headstrong. Okay, but in order to manifest something, you do need that kind of energy to manifest on that sort of very big level of starting your business. It requires a lot of creativity and a lot of stubbornness, and as my professor used to say, stick-to-itiveness. Okay, 8s are also athletically inclined. Anything that makes you feel powerful is an energy that you really like and something that you should get into. They're very hardworking. They have excellent supreme work ethic. They are the managers, they are the business moguls. Whatever you do, you want to do well, you want to stand out, you want the power. Remember, money, power, authority, respect. This is what you want, and this is what you'll learn about. Okay? In the negative, working in the negative, we have a very heavy energy, very heavy energy. The emotional intensity can turn to manifesting into the lower human emotions, the subliminal human emotions. You can be very conniving. You can be greedy, envious, jealous. This is something to watch out for. I also am a life path number 8, so I have struggled with both working in the positive and the negative of this number. Okay. Also, be aware of the level of intuition that you are harnessing and the way that you affect other people, both in romantic relationships and in social settings. Sometimes when I was very unaware of, oh God, it's 20 minutes already, I have to cut this video short. I've been in a place where I've been so unaware of the level of emotional heaviness that I've been giving out that people have had to leave the room because I've been so much for them and I just was not seeing it. So you have to be highly responsible. You have to be very emotionally responsible because our intensity, remember, we're the manifestors. So whatever we manifest, other people are going to feel. So you can manifest in a way that empowers, inspires, and uplifts, or you can manifest in a way that makes people scared of you, and people very often will not be able to articulate why they are scared of you. It's just an energy. You have to really reel it in, okay? There's going to be an unfolding of your interest in the occult because of the eighth house, as it is associated with occult, mysticism, mystical energy, fabulousness. Also an interest in the ancient texts as well, because the occult is associated with, the universal laws, which are, I'm so excited and happy that more and more people are learning them for themselves and teaching other people. I mentioned industry, I mentioned big business, I mentioned financial literacy, I mentioned needing to be emotionally responsible. This is too long already. It's going to be 20 minutes. I am signing off. I love you. Comment in the share, and comment in the ¿cómo se dice? In the section below if you want other videos. Kisses.